All right, welcome to the Cornhole Masters Podcast. I'm your host, Steve G. We had the opportunity to have a rather large benefit cornhole tournament held up in Loveland, Colorado this past weekend called Bags, Bites, and Brews. Bags, Bites, and Brews is a fourth annual cornhole tournament, and it was built up in sponsorship of the Kawasaki Kids Foundation. Now, if you don't know what Kawasaki Kids disease is or what the Kawasaki Kids Foundation is, go back and listen to episode 2 of my podcast where I was able to sit down and talk to Sean Logan, the president and founder of Kawasaki Kids, and his son, who's a survivor of the Kawasaki disease, Lil Coop, DJ Lil Coop. So, as a part of the Bags, Bites, and Brews, they were able to raise over $61,000. That is amazing on that goal. But a couple of things happened, and this is something that is not limited to just that cornhole tournament. It's a challenge that I think the ACL has been trying to address over the past couple of years, is the challenge of making sure players play in their proper skill level. I think jokingly, there's a couple people said that wonder what division they should sign up for. They had the advanced division. They had the intermediate or competitive division, and then they had the social division. Jokingly, it was said that an advanced player was going to win all three divisions. So what we want to do here is I brought in a couple of guests, and I'll bring them on now, and we're going to talk about some of the challenges that tournament directors are going to have in order to get people to start leveraging or playing in their proper skill. So I'm going to start in my upper left-hand corner and ask for Rusty to introduce himself. Tell us about you, Rusty, and who you play with, what's your home club, and did you participate in the tournament?
Yes, I did participate. It was a great time. I'm affiliated with Southside Baggers. I've been with them for about 2 years now, and I really enjoy the game, watching it grow, and that's about it. You know, I go out every Thursday night, Friday night, and throw some bags and have a good time with a lot of good friends, learning a lot from everybody. So
That's awesome. All right, then we'll go to top right, and then we'll talk about Russ Brown. Russ, introduce yourself and tell us tell a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks, Steve. My name is Russell Brown. Go by Russ Brown. I'm a tournament director with Southside Baggers. I'm one of a couple people who have been there for quite a while. I think Southside has been around for 2 years now. Joined Southside Baggers. I'm on the board and started doing organizing with them this past April. So I'm new to the club myself, but I've been an ACL local director both here. We're going to be starting up Southside Baggers here in a few weeks with the ACL and local points. And I was also an ACL local director in Phoenix previously for 2 years. I was with Copperhead Cornhole down there. I was a founding member. We had a good time. I enjoy the game. I enjoy being a director, an organizer. I also enjoy playing. I've just been on the injured reserve, if you will. I've had some bad hips, so the second one gets replaced next week, and I hope to be out on the boards as well as continuing directing in the coming weeks.
Awesome, Russell. And awesome, Russ. It's glad to have you guys both here. So I'm going to jump right in. And Russ, you said you weren't able to participate in the Bags, Bites, and Brews. Had you in the past?
No, I have not. Been aware of it. I was aware of it last year. Since I knew I was moving up to Colorado, I kind of had been researching things. So saw that it grew immensely from last year to this year. I didn't follow. I followed some of the tournaments online. People did live streams, so it was nice to see, and just kind of followed some of the Southside Baggers, the names I knew, and it was kind of fun to see how they were doing. And or not doing in some cases.
You were following me. Damn it.
Yeah, no, he's following me.
Honestly, I think you probably did better than me. I did 0-6. So,
Right there. Well, at least you got 6 games.
well, it was over across two different matches. So I get 4 games
Oh
in,
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
the singles tournament, and
Then the singles, and then you did blind draw, didn't you?
I did two in the blind
Yeah.
draw. Yep. Yep.
Right. Okay.
By that time, it was just like okay, it was pretty late and was tired, and my partner was there since 7 a.m. I think, and she was tired,
Yeah.
so we just couldn't throw. It was fine. All right, so let me go and jump in and talk a little bit about kind of the AC. And Russ, you probably know these rules like the back of your hand, but this is the 2022-2023 ACL Players Guide. This is the Bible that the ACL throws out and to help identify what the membership levels are, and we get down to the ACL divisions and skill levels. So this year they actually made a new division. Didn't make a new skill, but a new division. It's actually really interesting. And they talked about making an open division and basically saying that a pro level players, the people at the top, would not be able to play in the advanced level or skill, and would have to wait for an open. If I'm reading this correctly here, yes, open to anyone from pro level down to novice levels, similar to how the advanced division is played in the past. And it says here, this new season, the advanced division will not allow pros to play in the division at open conferences and regional events. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to limit the amount of the people who are basically prorated. They would not be able to play in the advanced divisions. So,
Correct.
had you seen this before, Russ?
The conversation around that, and it depends on, the ACL covers the whole country, and there are certain times when pros like to be there. There are certain times when people want pros to be there, and there are certain times when they don't want them there. So what the ACL wanted to do this year was have the opportunity for advanced players and below, if, to be able to compete in, say, a regional without the pro players being there and being expected to win the whole tournament.
Okay.
So that was the reason they wanted to have that division. For us here in Colorado, for SSB, for our weekly stuff, if we're looking to, have a singles night and, pros want to be able to attend, that tournament's going to be considered open because we want to have them there. We want to have them have the opportunity to go ahead and get some local points. You can't just say, hey, you're a pro, we don't want you.
And the cornhole community is not like that, right? We want to try and get more and more people in, and it's Rusty. What do you think?
I agree with Russ. Having like pro like Yeti or even Devin Harbaugh that was at the tournament. I mean, it would have been really cool to see Devin Harbaugh come to Southside. Or I know he's a busy kid, but watching Yeti come up and play with us, it's awesome. Women kind of look up to her as well. Even having a woman pro, I think that is really cool that she takes the time and comes out and throws with us as well.
And all those pros are great ambassadors of the game. They really are.
Yeah.
So, Rusty,
Absolutely.
you talked. Oh, go ahead, Russ. I'm sorry.
No, I just was in full agreement that, both here in Arizona, having the pros come out, they're all nice people. They certainly love the game. They enjoy sharing their knowledge and getting to know people, and that's what this game is all about: growing it and welcoming new players.
Abs-
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, so let's finish off the kind of the skill level, because when we talk about the open division, we jump into the advanced skill here. It talks about the PPR range, and right now it's basically it's 8.2 to 9 PPR, and based off of that, your throwing percentage. Um, it's basically suggesting that you play at this skill level. So, as Russ, and I'm gonna kind of pick on you just a little bit because you're such a you told me you were a tournament director. Um, what is PPR, and how does that differ from SPR and DECA?
So PPR stands for points per round, and it can go up, it can go down, but for the most part, it will indicate what your playing ability is uh, in a competitive setting. So, if you're throwing an 8.2 to 9 at the advanced level, you're throwing at least 2 bags in consistently, and leaving at least 2 bags on the board. Typically, you're going to be throwing 3 bags in and leaving one on or one off on occasion. So your consistency for in the hole and having bags, uh, you know, count as a score is going to be is definitely up there, and it's going that consistency is what really makes you an advanced player. You're not throwing bags off the board that much. You might still have a challenge with nailing an airmail or uh, blowing through a block. So having that ability, just for an advanced player and having that points per round, having that consistency, that's where a lot of people want to be. SPR, that's something related to score, Julio. That's something that is more of a win-loss, and it does have to do with how many points you lost by, and if you lost to a team or a person that maybe you shouldn't have, your SPR will drop, and that other person's SPR would go up. SPR has gone by the wayside with PPR, because PPR is more to your individual ability. SPR can count if you're playing doubles or if you're playing singles.
Okay.
So that's kind of the biggest difference between PPR and SPR.
So Rusty, I'm gonna pick on you here a little bit. What is your SPR and PPR?
Well, my SPR is about 50. So, and then, and my PPR is a 4.7. So it's not very good.
Okay, and honestly, I'll say I'm the voice of podcast masters. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm a podcast master or a cornhole master. So I'm far from it. My SPR is about 55, and my PPR is probably about 5.8. It
And
it
my SPR is a 54 point something, and my PPR is a 6.85.
okay. So based off of that, we're looking at the kind of our skill levels here. We look at the competitive
So
league.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Russ, if you were to play, what would you play in? Would you play in comp then?
Comp just to be comfortable. Once I come back, maybe once or twice, but
And then maybe
I
advanced?
I'll play advanced. I want to start beating up on a couple of young guns.
On the young guns? Who doesn't?
I
I
that's a
want to at
great.
least have the opportunity.
Right.
Now that's a great point, because honestly, I'll say this, that at the league, at the Bag
Uh-oh.
Spice Brews, I played in the comp division. Um, as a part of playing in the comp division, I I want to improve. And you'll hear people say this all the time, is that if you want to really improve, in your cornhole game, you have to play people better than you. So that's the reason why I played in the comp league. But um, there's been times in the past where I've played in the social level, and as you can see, social is not on this list. So we go from advanced to competitive, down to intermediate, and to the novice section. So based off of my PPR, I should be playing in a novice division. Um, Russ, based off your PPR, you're in the intermediate area. I think in any ACL league or any ACL big event, they're going to have three divisions. They're going to have the advanced, comp, and social. Now, I'm assuming that the ACL intended that the intermediate and the novice would be kind of a pseudo social league or a social skill level. Um, any thoughts there?
Most ACL events above a local, you go local, regional, uh, state, and then conference. So most regional ACL events will have advanced, comp, intermediate. So they'll at least have three. I haven't seen a novice division offered in quite a while, but it doesn't mean that you know that a regional may or may not offer that. They might have enough people that could qualify for the novice division. I haven't seen it in quite a while, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. As it pertains to bags, bites, and brews, I think for simplicity's sake, they were kind of calling social, wanting to draw the lower level, maybe not so many of the intermediate folks that should be maybe considered comp or an experienced player. Um, and that's hard to go by. They tried combining divisions essentially, and evidently it ruffled some feathers.
By all means, of course, the Bags, Spies, and Brews is not necessarily a full ACL event. It was just simply a charity event that was brought on, or it was put on by one of the many board manufacturers. I've got a couple of his boards from Don Newvarner, Colorado
Cornhole Connection.
Cornhole Connection. There you go. Thank you. Like I heart cornhole. Yep. No, but I got a couple of his boards, and they're very good boards, and I know BJ Torres makes some good ones as well. But Rusty, what type of events have you have you attended in the past, and what type of kind of those skill levels have you seen in the past? I mean, did you? I think you went to the Colorado State Championship last year that was held down at Pikes Peak, wasn't it? Didn't you?
I think I was there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I did throw. I believe I played in the comp division, and I really like the way Pikes Peak kind of they direct really well. They have a very good club down in Springs. I'm playing there on Friday nights as well,
Okay.
but but they did have, I believe, advanced and then comp. I don't think they had a, intermediate or a social, if that's what you're asking.
Huh. I thought they might have, but I must be wrong. No, but no
Well,
worries.
and I could be wrong too. They might have had a social social or intermediate.
No, but you're right. They did put on a good event down there for the Colorado State Championship, and I'm looking forward to, I guess, the one coming up here in probably just over a month from now. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be hosted at Palladium or Toka.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess the question is, I mean, how do we differentiate from the skill level versus, because a lot of people, and I know a lot of it was stated in a number of comments of, well, how can you be playing for a number of years and still be a beginner? So it's, I think one of the issues we have to get past is anybody who's not playing in the comp or the advanced league and might be either a intermediate or a novice or even something like a social categorization. How do we get past them basically identifying that as the beginners? Is this simply part of the description, or can we? How can we get past that?
Can Russ? Can I speak on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I was actually called out on that a few nights ago with a certain member, Mike Carwin. He asked me, he's like, Rusty, haven't you been playing for 2 years? And I'm like, well, yeah, but have you seen my PPR? I'm actually throwing at a beginner's level, and I don't know if I'm going to get. I'm hoping that I can get a lot better. That's why I go, but uh, you know, he is absolutely right. No, I'm not a beginner, but my numbers don't lie. I am definitely at a beginner's numbers. And I mean, I don't throw 7, 8 hours a day like some of these young bugs that have nothing else to do. I have a job to do and a mortgage and like Russ. And I mean, I'm not gonna be a Paul Alexander or I mean, you look at these young kids. I mean, my Lord, Jackson, Gavin. I mean, these kids are throwing fire, but they put in the time. I don't have that time.
No, that's a great point, and you're right. I mean, those it's a. I've heard people talk about this on ESPN. I think I even heard Trey Ryder say in the past of that until the you're seeing a lot of young kids at the pro level, only because they've got the ability to put in that time in order to put in the practice and get that good. Until it gets to the point where the professional funding comes into play, where somebody's able to live off of that wage or the money they make at the pro level and through sponsorships, you're going to just continue to see the sport get younger and younger as those kids are able to put more and more time into it. But you're right. Um, the age of us three, um, I don't have the time. I put in 40 plus hours a week at work, and I can go throw maybe once or twice a week, and I just don't have the
That's
time in
me.
order to do it. So, uh, no, you're right. Uh, Russ, what about you? I mean, how can we get past that beginner mentality at the social level and so forth?
I'm probably not going to be. Well, I'll state it, and then maybe we can talk about it. Just going off of the word novice. Novice means new. So, as far as somebody who's coming into the cornhole world, um, you kind of want to look at them and give them a place to start, a place to get comfortable, and a place to go or grow from. So, Rusty, I certainly understand that your PPR is showing that you should be in the novice level or the novice division, um, but you're not new. And it's from from anybody's standpoint, and just looking at some of the people that were, seeing some of the pictures from the novice division or the social division. I would put you there because of your level. It's combining novice and intermediate. I think that was a fair thing to assume. Um, but seeing some of the PPRs that came out of that tournament, there were, when probably a good quarter of the finishers for that tournament were 7, 6, like a 6.5 and above. It's kind of hard to be empathetic to some of those people that if you were being called the sandbagger, I think you deserved it.
Yeah. Well, when when somebody wins 84-13, I mean, that's crazy, and that's definitely. I mean, there's Russ Hurley. He posted something saying, and he put a square around, I don't know, 9-10 players that should have definitely been in the comp division and not in the social, and he is absolutely right.
Now, one of the things the list for the listeners here that may have not seen that post, what we're talking about here, 84-13 is the points for and points against across 4 games. So the top player in one of the divisions did win 4 games, 84-13 in total. So on average, it was 21-4, 21-3 was the average point per game for that person. Now, um, could the other person been throwing off? Yeah, great. 21-3. I lost a couple of games in my when I was playing 21-5, 21-2, only because I just got nervous and I did not throw well. But I was playing at the comp level. But see that over and over again is a concern. And Russ, I think you probably agree with me, is that I think part of the reason why the ACL puts in these, and I'll pop up with the browser again, but part of the reason why the ACL puts in these points per range or points per round is so that we're trying to build the sport, bring in more people, make sure there's a constant growth of the game. Do you see a challenge with if people continue to play down or play in the lower level, but only because they're going to do better and they have a better chance of winning for the prize money, of potentially
Well,
impacting the membership and new people coming into the sport?
one of the nice things that the ACL has in place with their software, and we won't see it so much from us at SSB because we'll be using Scoreholio and we'll be transferring the tournaments into the ACL software. So we're going to be a little liberal as far as that happens, but we're still going to be monitoring when people are signing up for advanced and or comp. We may actually go ahead and split into an intermediate levels just so we can keep competition, divided and a little more equalized. But when you sign up for an ACL event normally, uh, your ACL profile will have a certain level. So mine is currently intermediate. My PPR supports it. Um, but if I want to sign up for a tournament, I could sign up for intermediate. Um, I can sign up for comp or I could sign up for advanced. You could sign up above your level, but you can't sign up below your level. So that's something the ACL software kind of that is an advantage, especially for those larger, like I said, the regional, the state, the conference levels. You're not going to have players able to play down. So a comp player that has a PPR that's supported in ACL can't play in intermediate. So you won't have the same backers.
I was trying to show. I actually have my ACL player uh, page up, and I was going to try and show that in the screen. I just didn't have it set up properly. But you talked about a number of good points, and Rusty, feel free to jump in here anytime.
Okay.
Is the Russ? You help with the directing of the weekly leagues at Southside Baggers, and I think even some of the score Holio nights, the switch Holio nights, the singles nights, where we're all playing, or even some of the bring your own partners nights. So I think Southside Baggers does a really good job of trying to make sure it makes the players play in their proper skill. And for those switch Holio nights, you'll actually split the bracket based off of PPR in some cases. So do you see the ACL, or do you see more tournament directors kind of adopting that approach of kind of trying to leverage the players' PPR um, in their weekly leagues?
I believe more now that PPR is more prevalent both in Scoreholio and in ACL. More directors have utilized it because it's a great way to determine where people should be. If a topic we haven't gotten into and I think may have been a subject of contention for uh, I guess they started with 80 players at the tournament for Bags, Bites, and Brews for social, and they ended up cutting it down to 28, the top 28 players. Something to consider when you're doing tournaments and having to continue is always time and the amount of boards you have. Not being the director for that, I can't say one way or the other why. I could just maybe hint that they were under time constraints to run 82 people for the rest of the tournament, either single elimination or double elimination. It just wasn't possible. But getting back to the topic, I know Pikes Peak uses PPR. I know Mile High Cornhole uses PPR, and I believe a couple of the other directors in the North Metro area are using PPR as well. So it's good to make that differentiation. It's an average. People are able to see it, and there's kind of no doubt that their level is as long as it's visible. Scoreholio definitely has it. So.
No, you're right. And I'll just say that you're right. I guess the major reason for that is they didn't have well, they admitted it right up front is that it was the problems they were having at Bags, Bites, and Brews this year is because it just got so big. It was huge. They had like the number one problem, the number one best problem of problems to have. They had so many people there to participate in this charity event that they just knew that if they allowed for everybody to play a round of four round robins and then a double elimination, they weren't going to get done with with the singles tournament until noon on Sunday, and
Yeah.
it happened. It started on right around noon on Saturday. So, or actually right around 11 o'clock on Saturday. But um, Rusty, what do you think?
Um, you know, 26 people out of 80 some. I think that's just, I don't know. It's just, I think that's too many people to cut. I understand why Don did it. I mean, with the time restraint, being there till noon on Sunday would have been ridiculous. But, but I don't know. Maybe with the people that didn't make it, maybe do a switch or maybe do a blind draw with the rest of the players, maybe in the other room or something, just so they could keep throwing. I mean, that might have been something to think about instead of having us guys that sat around and waited for blind draw until after the singles of 26 people. uh, uh, Chris, how long did you sit before blind draw?
How long did I sit before blind draw?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god, I probably sat for probably 3 or 4 hours.
right, right.
But
I mean, you could have definitely did like you could probably did a switch or even a blind draw or something.
yeah, and
I mean, they had a few sets of boards set up there. I mean, you could have did a blind draw. I think that would have definitely helped with time while you're waiting for the other blind draw. Just I don't know. What do you think, Russ? Do you think something like that could have been orchestrated or?
Um, again, it just depends on what their plans were for boards. I wasn't there, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah,
When it, from an organizer or tournament director standpoint, hopefully you can be as open about that from the get-go.
Right.
You know, it, it sounds like they didn't expect as many people, so that kind of makes it, they kind of had to improvise and make some changes. And unfortunately,
Right.
it sounds like a number of people weren't happy with the decision. You're never going to make everybody happy, so that's, always unfortunately a concession.
Right.
You know, were it me, I probably maybe would have just done a single elimination and made it that much easier. That way, everybody's still there.
Right.
Every round eliminates half the people. Um, so there are different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't make that. Certainly can't make that decision for them. And not being there,
Right.
I couldn't tell you what the availability of boards or how they were
Right.
trying to make them work for all the tournaments.
And I did have a chance to talk to Don. I guess in the coming years, both Don and Sean are looking to bring in another 40 plus boards to leverage the other side of the building because they do have that opportunity, and they are justifiably trying to cut the field down by 20 down to 25%. It was a decision that they had to make. While it was an unpopular decision, I think we all understand the reason why it happened. So, so I guess I want to take an opportunity to kind of talk about just a couple of ideas of how can we kind of implore or ask the cornhole community to as they have the opportunity to sign ups for some of these events, they take a look at the divisions and say, okay, yeah, normally I play in the comp or competitive division in my weekly league. So I said, okay, I'm going to keep on playing in the competitive division. How can like some of those advanced players or even some of the junior comp players feel comfortable playing in the social level or the intermediate level or novice level? And how can we keep the people who really belong in the advanced and competitive divisions playing in those? Is it something we got to rely on the tournament directors for, or can we kind of implore on the cornhole community and the cornhole players to make that decision on their own? We'll start off with you, Rusty.
Oh, you know. Well, Russ, why don't you go ahead and go first? I want to hear what you have to say about this, and then I'll chime in.
Um, you know, from a director organizer standpoint, you certainly hope that most people want to be playing at their level or above. Um, the other thing to keep in mind is, uh, you know, your level or above. Your level, as we've already discussed, my level is intermediate from what my PPR is. Um, Rusty, if you saw me on any given night, you may not think I'm only intermediate. So, what reality and perception are usually two different things. So that's kind of a tough line to make, or a tough line to from an organizer standpoint to make that definition and back it up. Again, from the beginning, the expectation should be set. So they had 86 people sign up for social. The understanding probably wasn't that social was combining novice and intermediate. And that being said, from a technical standpoint, I could have been playing in social.
Right.
Integrity has a lot to do with it. The desire to play with better players has a lot to do with it. And unfortunately, sandbagging is part of human nature, and there are going to be people who are going to try and take advantage of winning money that may not be as substantial as what the advanced tournament was, but hey, they'll be happy getting whatever social offer.
You know, Gabe Luna, he said something on on Facebook today, and he says, you know, maybe they should take the money out of the social division, and I actually thought that was a great idea, because that's what they're there for, is to play for money. But if you take the money out of the social division, then they're gonna say, okay, well, we're gonna play comp because that's where the money is at. And I don't know. I actually think that I think Gabe Luna and Don actually talked about that, and that might be something to think about for the future, because you know, Carwin asked me, well, you want all the money split three ways, and I'm like, no, that's not it at all. I I could care less about the damn money. Excuse my language, Steve, but
You're fine.
but all I want is for social division to be social or intermediate. I mean, you're going to be scaring some beginners away if you have comp players moving down to social because of the money. And even at Southside Beggars, I've seen where we have some brand new players that are so intimidated by even the comp division, because we only have two. We have comp and advanced, well, comp and intermediate, and then but then you have brand new players that have never played at the competitive level, and they're just usually backyard players, like we all probably started out at, but they come in, and then they think they're gonna wipe the floor with us just because they've been playing in the backyard. But I honestly think that we should definitely maybe even think about even a beginners. I know it's hard to say, Russ, but I don't know if we can do that. I mean, I've tried saying, oh, you know what, maybe for brand new players, maybe we should do a switch for beginners. And I had one person sign up, and it was me. But and then I had to back out of it because I was the only one that signed up. But I was hoping to draw maybe some new players that felt intimidated by these comp players. Do you want to weigh in on that, or what do you
Oh,
think?
well, no, you bring up a great point, and the night you signed up for the I think we just had it as an open for novice or new players, or I
Right.
forgot what we called it. We as a board had discussed it, and we definitely want to give the lower level players an opportunity to step up and have a little fun just on their own boards and have that opportunity. Um, One person signed up. You
Me.
were it.
I was it.
you know,
So I had to, and
we
that's fine.
we certainly go ahead.
I was just hoping that maybe more new players would say, okay, you know what, us just play switch. Let's play, you know, be a good time, and and it kind of backfired on me because I was hoping there'd be more than just me playing in the switch. So I had to actually go to, I think, singles comp or something like that, which didn't bother me. I was just hoping that more players would play and not feel
Well, and
intimidated
we had
by the
hoped
brand new players. Go
we had
ahead.
hoped the same. We
Yeah.
I we don't know if we didn't advertise it for long enough or give it. It was up for a week, and we were hoping maybe people would have said, "Hey, look, they've got a social division this tonight. It's only going to be $5, whatever. That way we
Yeah.
could cover, being able to have our spot there at Chaos Clubhouse. Um, we continue to talk about ways to get more people involved. I'm hoping maybe in the next month or two, on our off night, which is usually week 3, I think. Just having an open night, and we do like unlimited switch, and we'll, hopefully we have a couple weeks to play with it, and let people know, hey, bring new people out. We're going to do unlimited switch all night, and that way, there won't be a prize, or maybe we do spot prizes for a top SPR, maybe the bottom, who knows.
Right.
But just have fun, and
Yeah.
no prizes, have it as an open house, keep playing against, as many people as you want as it comes up in Scoreholio. So we want to be able to do that with us going to ACL points. I think we might actually see how we can, take our 14 boards and split it up to advanced or open. If we have a pro that wants to come out and play, we're going to make it an open. But have open/advanced, comp, and then intermediate.
If you want to find
So,
a fun game, I hear Rusty loves Breakout or Bust Out. But guys, no, this has been a great conversation, and guys, I'm looking forward to playing with you guys again here real soon. Rusty or Russ, hope to your surgery goes well. I can't wait to see you back out Southside Baggers again. We'll bring you. We'll take it easy on you when you get back. And
He's gonna have to take it easy on me.
right. He's got all. He's all. I'm not sure how you say your hip. You just kind of throw, man. But
Yeah.
no. But
I just lean to one side or the other.
All right, guys, much appreciated. I'm gonna, guys, thank you so much. As you know, the challenge with every tournament out there, weekly leagues, ACL events, charity events, is that you're always going to have the players that are playing below their skill level. We can ask, we can just remember, there's always an opportunity for you to get better. Is It's been said by a number of countless pros, including Gino DeLisa. It's like, if you want to get better, play people better than you. And the way you're going to do that is by getting up into that next level of skill level. And while I play at the competitive level at my weekly leagues, only because they don't offer anything lower, I played in the competitive level at the Bags, Bites, and Brews. And while I got my butt kicked, I learned a lot, and I'm going to be better the next time I go out. So ACL's doing what they can. ACL's doing what they can, as well as all the leagues. So look forward to talking with you guys again here in the near future. And thank you for joining the Cornhole Masters podcast.